In the twilight of the 19th century, as European empires carved Asia into economic spheres, one mystery haunted global markets. How did the Kingdom of Siam lose control of its centuries-old silver standard almost overnight? Behind the polite smiles of diplomats and the polished halls of royal courts, a financial scandal was quietly unfolding, one that would reshape Siam's currency, destabilize trade, and expose hidden corruption touching both palace elites and foreign bankers. Before we uncover how secret deals shattered an ancient monetary system, remember to like, subscribe, and join us as we dive into the forgotten scandals that shaped world finance. For centuries, Siam operated on a silver-based currency system built around the tikal, a coin whose weight and purity were trusted across Southeast Asia. Unlike Western nations that shifted to bimetallism and later gold, Siam's attachment to silver allowed flexible trade with China, Burma, and the Malay world. But the global silver crisis of the late 1800s, triggered by massive U.S. silver mining and Europe's abandonment of silver, sent shockwaves through Asia. As silver prices plummeted, the tikal lost value, destabilizing Siam's imports and tax revenues. Into this chaos stepped opportunists who recognized that collapsing silver created profitable openings for manipulation. As silver's value fell, foreign merchants operating in Bangkok began exploiting exchange rate volatility. British and American traders converted cheap silver into tikals, used them to buy Siamese rice and teak, then reconverted their profits into gold currencies abroad. The imbalance created a one-sided extraction pipeline. Siam paid with depreciating silver while foreigners earned with appreciating gold. Officials in the Ministry of Finance sounded alarms, but palace factions dismissed the warning as foreign exaggeration. Yet beneath the surface, some of those same officials were secretly profiting from the arbitrage, feeding a shadow economy that deepened the kingdom's monetary instability. By 1890, the royal treasury, already strained by modernization costs, found itself hemorrhaging revenue. Tax collections, denominated in silver, lost purchasing power daily. Wealthy nobles quietly converted their fortunes to foreign banks in Singapore and Hong Kong, protecting themselves while common citizens suffered rising prices. British advisors, pushing for increased economic guidance, strategically highlighted Siam's declining fiscal credibility. But as the government considered reforms, a troubling revelation emerged. Several treasury accountants had falsified silver reserves, reporting full vaults while secretly removing high-purity bars and replacing them with lower-grade alloys. What appeared to be monetary instability was also internal theft at scale. The scandal deepened when auditors discovered private smelting workshops operating suspiciously close to government granaries. These workshops melted stolen silver into bars identical to official bullion, enabling corrupt officials to swap them undetected. Soon rumors swirled that members of the royal household might be involved, protected by their positions from legal scrutiny. Foreign newspapers reported mysterious discrepancies in Siam's currency reserves, undermining international confidence. The Bangkok elite scrambled to hide their exposure, while common citizens faced soaring rice prices. The silver standard, once a symbol of stability, was now collapsing under the weight of fraud, speculation, and elite corruption. To restore trust, King Chulalongkorn summoned British and French financial advisors to inspect Siam's reserves. Their findings were damning: missing silver, adulterated coins, and ledgers intentionally altered to conceal losses. Yet the foreign advisors were not purely altruistic. Both Britain and France coveted influence over Siam's economic system, exposing scandal-created leverage. They recommended abandoning the silver standard entirely and adopting a currency tied to gold or fixed exchange rates, changes that would draw Siam further into Western economic dependency. What began as internal corruption had become an international tug-of-war over the kingdom's monetary sovereignty and future financial independence. As foreign pressure intensified, Siamese merchants revolted, not through protests but through market tactics. They hoarded silver coins, anticipating further depreciation, causing a severe currency shortage. Local banks limited withdrawals, and rural communities reverted to barter for daily transactions. The government attempted to issue emergency paper notes, but distrust was so widespread that villagers refused them, fearing they would become worthless. The crisis exposed how deeply the silver scandal had eroded public confidence. Instead of stabilizing the economy, attempted reforms accelerated panic. Meanwhile, speculators, both foreign and domestic, profited immensely from the chaos, buying land and debt at desperate discounts. Behind the scenes, Siam's princes were divided. Progressive reformers urged immediate adoption of a gold-based currency to restore credibility in global markets. Conservative factions insisted the crisis was temporary and blamed foreign advisors for manipulating the situation to weaken Siam. Amid this political struggle, the truth came to light. Several influential nobles had collaborated with foreign bankers to short the tickle, betting on its collapse while publicly defending the silver standard. Their private letters, later uncovered, detailed schemes to profit from the kingdom's financial downfall. The scandal was no longer monetary, it had become a betrayal of national loyalty. To regain control, King Chulalongkorn initiated sweeping investigations, arresting lower-level officials while shielding high-ranking elites to preserve political stability. Foreign banks demanded repayment of overdue loans, leveraging Siam's crisis to negotiate favorable trade concessions. Meanwhile, British diplomats proposed establishing a currency board, effectively transferring monetary authority to foreign oversight. The king refused, fearing loss of sovereignty, but the pressure exposed how vulnerable Siam had become. Silver, once abundant and trusted, now symbolized mismanagement and manipulation. With trade collapsing, prices surging, and confidence evaporating, Siam faced a stark choice: cling to a sinking standard or embrace sweeping monetary reform. In 1893, the crisis reached its breaking point when Siam's tickle dropped to its lowest recorded value against the British pound. Imported goods became prohibitively expensive, and foreign merchants demanded payments in gold, bypassing Siam's silver currency altogether. Government revenues shrank so sharply that railway and telegraph projects stalled, jeopardizing modernization efforts. That same year, the Franco-Siamese War erupted, further straining finances. Many historians argue that Siam's weakened currency emboldened France to challenge Siam's borders, calculating the kingdom lacked resources to resist. The silver scandal had transcended economics, it was now reshaping geopolitics and territorial security. Facing national crisis, the king appointed Prince Damrong and a team of financial reformers to overhaul the system. They conducted a full audit, revealing the actual extent of silver debasement and reserve depletion. Their report shocked the palace. Nearly one-third of Siam's official silver had been replaced with adulterated bars or smuggled out entirely. The scandal was buried from public record to avoid unrest, but behind closed doors the monarchy realized its survival required modernization. Their solution: introduce stricter currency controls, regulate mint operations, and begin transitioning from silver to a managed currency pegged to international gold valuations. In 1902, after years of internal debate and foreign negotiations, Siam officially abandoned its pure silver standard and adopted a currency system pegged to the gold exchange standard, linking the tickle to the British pound. The move stabilized exchange rates, restored international credibility, and ended decades of volatility. But the transition came at a cost. Siam's financial autonomy narrowed as its economy became intertwined with Western markets. To many, the reform was a necessary survival strategy. To others, it symbolized capitulation. The silver scandal had forced Siam to modernize, but also to accept deeper integration into the global financial hierarchy. In the aftermath, whispers of the scandal lingered in palace corridors and merchant guilds. Though several low-ranking officials were punished, the powerful nobles implicated in manipulating silver reserves escaped justice. Their wealth, now stored abroad, quietly fueled new business ventures. Foreign banks expanded influence in Bangkok, financing railways and timber concessions. The scandal reshaped class dynamics. Elites who diversified into gold and foreign currencies thrived, while farmers and laborers, paid in depreciated silver, absorbed the crisis's full impact. The monetary collapse revealed how financial corruption widens social inequality, leaving vulnerable communities to bear the heaviest burdens of systemic failure. For historians, Siam's silver scandal offers a window into the precarious balance between preserving tradition and adapting to global economic forces. The kingdom's loyalty to silver was not ignorance, it was rooted in centuries of regional trade. But as global powers shifted toward gold, Siam's refusal to modernize created dangerous vulnerabilities easily exploited by insiders and foreign actors alike. The scandal illustrates that currency is more than metal, it is trust, governance, and national strategy. Once trust fractures, entire systems collapse. Siam survived the scandal, but the event reshaped its financial identity for generations, setting the stage for modern-time monetary policy. The scandal that sank Siam's silver standard was not a single crime but a perfect storm of global silver collapse, internal corruption, political rivalry, and foreign manipulation. It proved that no currency, no matter how historic, can withstand weakened institutions and unregulated power. Siam emerged stronger only after confronting the uncomfortable truth that reform requires transparency, accountability, and adaptability. As we continue exploring forgotten financial dramas that shaped nations, remember to like, subscribe, and share this journey. The past does not merely inform history, it teaches the hidden lessons modern economies still struggle to learn.